Alright guys, this is Gary with Runes of Life, and right now the San Diego Comic-Con is going on, and Marvel's had a lot of stuff there, and I kind of wanted to react to it and share my thoughts on it. They've had three panels. I'm not really going to cover the comic book one, but I'm going to cover the animation one, and I'm going to cover the MCU panel. This video will probably just be over specifically the animation panel. I'll cover the MCU stuff a little bit later. So let's kind of dive into it. A lot of cool stuff at the animation panel. About 4 or 5 different projects. The first thing was I Am Groot. This is coming pretty quick, August 10th to Disney+. This is just a CGI series starring Groot. 5 shorts, I believe, is all it is. And it looks like a fun diversion, something to watch when you have a little bit of extra time. I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking, but I think it'll be cute and fun to watch. So there's a trailer. I'm not going to play it here, but you can look that up on YouTube or something if you'd like. There's also, for the second project, now this gets a little bit more into the original stuff, things that I hadn't seen much of yet. But Spider-Man Freshman Year, that's an animated series following Spider-Man during his first year as Spider-Man. Now, the weird thing about this is and they've already announced that there's going to be a season 2 called Sophomore Year. But I don't know how this fits in with MCU continuity. For one thing, they have what's his name? Charlie Cox, I believe, is returning to voice Daredevil in the series, so that would be cool, kind of seeing them interacting. But it's kind of weird because they're not having Tom Holland voicing Peter Parker. Maybe they just couldn't get him. But having Charlie Cox there makes you think, okay, so this is tied into the main MCU. Or why would they spend so much money and not just get somebody who sounds like Charlie Cox or a new voice? Why waste all the money getting him if it's not going to tie in? But then you look at this, and there's just stuff that makes it really hard to think that it's going to tie in. For one thing, Norman Osborn's going to be in this. And if you saw the last Spider-Man movie, Far From Home, it was mentioned in there that there is no Norman Osborn in the main MCU. And Peter doesn't seem to know any Norman Osborn from earlier in his career, which is when this takes place. So, you got Charlie Cox on the one hand tying it into the MCU, but then you've got Norman Osborn hanging out, and it's not making much sense. You also have Dr. Octopus, right, who, as far as we know, it doesn't make sense for the MCU Spider-Man to have met Dr. Octopus. Scorpion, who there is a Scorpion in the MCU, but he doesn't look like the comic book character at all. He doesn't have a tail, at least not yet. But there's pictures of him with his scorpion tail. So I don't know how this is all going to fit in. But as far as information on it, it says you're going to meet his friends, Amadeus Cho, which is somebody who would usually hang out with Hulk or Hercules and got super powered. I think it ended up being called Brawn. He was called Hulk for a while, maybe, but very smart is his main thing. You've got Lonnie Lincoln, who we know eventually becomes Tombstone. Nico Minoru, one of the Runaways. Asha, I do not know who that is, and Harry Osborn. So, yeah, that looks kind of interesting. As far as villains, let's see, you've got Unicorn. Not too familiar. It sounds somewhat familiar. Could be an obscure villain. He has a lot. Spider-Man. Scorpion, Tarantula, Butane, Dr. Octopus, Carmilla Black, Rhino, Speed Demon, and Chameleon. Some of these look more like their comic book counterparts or MCU counterparts than others. Some look very far off. There's also some promotional pictures showing the costumes he'll use. So there is, I don't see it here, but there was one that was like a proto suit. I think it had a web backpack. But there's some slinger personas, and I think it may be his Fantastic Four costume, his Foundation costume. Could be his negative suit. And then you see his classic suit. So, yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what direction that takes. And there's a picture of Doctor Strange. So, I don't know. It's drawn in the same style. So, is he in here? I do not know. But I do like the art style. Yeah, it says Peter will have the help of Doctor Strange and the guidance of Norman Osborn. That also doesn't make sense because he didn't know Doctor Strange this early in his career. So, this must not be tied in, even though they got Charlie Cox to do the voice. All right, next thing, What If? There's a season 2 coming. It says the trailer they debuted. I don't think this is online. It said shots of Hela, Peter Quill, Todd Lowe, and old Bucky Barnes as the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., T'Challa, Tony and the Hulkbuster on Sakaar, Valkyrie, Korg, the Grandmaster, and a fateful fight between Conqueror Odin and the Mandarin wielding his 10 rings. And they had a glimpse of the 1602 universe, which was a famous comic, Neil Gaiman, taking place in the year 1602. I love What If. Says at the end of it all, panel revealed that the audience would be previewing the first episode of season 2 of What If, featuring Captain Carter fighting the Hydra Stomper. All right, so I love What If. I've loved it as a comic book for years, so this is great. I love that you never know what's going to happen. You get this whole completely altered universe. Really excited for this one. Marvel Zombies, that is the next thing. So this one's interesting because I don't know if it ties from the What If episode. I thought it was going to be its own thing from what I was hearing, but I'm not seeing anything that actually contradicts it. Like the characters that are chosen to be zombified or not zombified, I don't see anything right off that contradicts it. The thing about this is it will be rated TVMA, which is basically almost a rated R movie. The heroes that they're going to have, it says that there's going to be Yelena Belova, the other Black Widow, right? Katie Chen, Kate Bishop, Red Guardian, Death Dealer, Kamala Khan, Chang-Chi, and a very capable post-apocalyptic Jimmy Woo. They're going to face off against zombies like Hawkeye, Ghost, Captain Marvel, Wanda, Okoye, and Cap. Cap that has been only the upper half of his body, which I thought he did get chopped in half, so maybe this is tied into that series, but it's definitely going to up the gore. There's also pictures of this sort of road warrior looking Skrull crew at a gas station. There's pictures of somewhere I think it said it was a group of Black Widows kind of fighting together. So we'll see how that goes. Probably not something I'm super excited for. I'm not really big into gore and whatnot. And finally, there's X-Men 97, which includes, it looks very similar to the original X-Men show from the 90s, the cartoon, as far as the look of it. And it picks up right where that story left off. You remember Xavier was kind of, I think he went off into space, and now Magneto's in charge of the X-Men as a hero. Costumes look very similar. Storm has a more of a, I don't know if somebody called it an updo, or it almost might be her mohawk, but she's still in the white classic costume. We have pictures of, I think that's Sunspot, Morph, Nightcrawler, Bishop Forge, Cable, and the main crew, though, appears to be Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Jubilee, Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, and Beast, Hero Magneto in his purple suit with the cape, and then we see villains like, who we got? Mr. Sinister and the let's see, is that Callista, the Morlocks leader? Someone from the Hellfire Clubs, the White Queen, and I think that's Val. I can't remember her last name. We see a Sentinel. The big thing on this one is that it's already been confirmed for a second season. Is nostalgia can play tricks on you, right? I'm excited for it, but I also know that you've got to make sure that when you bring something that people remember from old, you've got to bring it how they remember it, not how it was. So you don't bring back the animation style from there. You bring back you bring it with a similar look, but with more energy. You bring it with more stories tailored to the age, because we've aged a lot since 1997. Because if you're just going to go back and do it exactly like that, it's not going to be as good as you remember. So hopefully they keep up to date with the new animation style, or in the same style, the same look, but make it smoother, make it more, not adult themes, but more is not adult in the terms of blood and gore and sex, but adult in the seriousness and the themes that are explored. And hopefully this will be something awesome to watch and have nostalgia for and all that. So yeah, excited for X-Men and What If, not so much for Marvel Zombies. I Am Groot looks good. Spider-Man freshman year looks good. Let me know what you think. I'll do another video on what's going on in the MCU. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you think about this animation, Marvel animation announcements. All right, have a great day, guys.